Position. Welcome to the Barre Beat podcast, live from Fly in the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barre, Vermont. We're going to be talking about the election results from last night, and with us right now, because our special guest hasn't arrived yet.
I know, it's just like old times.
I know, it is just like old times. So Raylene is here, of course.
Good evening.
Good evening, Raylene. How you doing?
Good. Not bad at all.
Excited about this being over with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I am excited about it being over and excited about where we're going to go. Good things are going to happen.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
It was, I felt like last night was very disappointing for me.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, it was definitely a tough night.
It was. I know. You know, I'm super stoked that our budget passed in Barre City. Mm-hmm. It passed by 825 to 393. So it was about 400 extra votes. That's pretty good. Considering
were you not expecting that?
No, I was really concerned that the whole push to fail the school budget would transfer onto
the city budget.
Mm-hmm. And I think it did a little, but not enough to really cause a problem. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at, for example, the special items where people get to add things in, like the Barre Heritage Festival, Central Vermont Adult Basic Education, all that stuff, that went to the positive, 1,000 to 200 and 200 votes. So it was a landslide for those organizations, and the budget, the school budget, man. Oh,
yeah, that definitely took a hard hit.
Yes, it did. It was, it wasn't like super, super nasty.
No.
But it definitely, you could see that the get out the vote to fail the budget was there.
Yeah.
It failed 454 people saying yes, 769 saying no.
Yeah, that's pretty
huge.
Pretty
heavy.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, even for a school budget, usually those actually do fail a lot in Barre City, and Barre Town, of course, because the
it failed in both locations. Correct?
Oh yeah, it definitely failed in both locations. I'm trying to pull up just how bad it went down in Barre Town, because it really went down in Barre Town too. Yeah, it was 703 for yes, and then 941 for no. Mm-hmm. So it was quite a bit. It was definitely quite a bit that.
And it sounds like they had a bigger voter turnout than we did.
Yes, they did. They had like 1,600 people that got to the polls. And I've stated multiple times, I'm not overly concerned about the budget on this. I am pretty confident that the school could have absorbed that 1.5%. I'm sorry, the difference between a 1.5 and a 4.97 is $1,600,000 out of a $54 million budget. There's no doubt in my mind that you could absorb that. Would it be the amount that I would have gone with as a school board member? I've said multiple times, I would have tried to split the baby to get 100% approval from everybody so that we could push the budget forward and not do what we're about to do, which is a revote. And one of the problems with the revote is the apathy of voters. People don't. Welcome, Rich. Glad for you to join us.
Sorry, the kitchen was backed up.
The kitchen was backed up? Oh, okay.
How are you?
Rich is in studio with us. It's been almost a year.
I think it's been a year.
It's been a year.
I think so.
Hi, Raylene.
Hi.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there you go. Now you're talk. You have the.
Now everybody can hear me.
Now everybody can hear you.
Sorry, I was late. The kitchen was backed up at Cornerstone.
Was it?
But it was $5 burger night, so
Right,
you can't
so
go
that's-
wrong there.
right, exactly.
I apologize if I have
No
onions
shock.
on my breath,
It's okay. I'll forgive
or
you.
maybe garlic
We
aioli.
can smell it. It's pretty nasty.
That's the secret sauce, is the garlic aioli. That's where they get you.
Is that it?
Oh, that's the secret. You spread a little bit of that on your burger.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Perfect.
Nice. So we were just chatting about the budget for the school board and how what I don't think people that were voting no on it realized, it's not coming up for revote on May, the town meeting day, or the May election. It's actually going to be a special election.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's the cost of those special elections for the city side of it?
I want to say $3,000 to $5,000 minimum.
Perfect.
I mean, it's not that much, but it doesn't cost the city, the municipality. It will cost.
It comes out of the.
It comes out of the BUUSD, so it costs everybody, and it would probably be. It's not. So Heather wrote only for the city. That's not true. The elections will cost something for the town as well. You cannot hold the election, the vote on different days for the school, the BUSD. You have to pick a day, and you can't do it in Barre City on that day, the second Tuesday in March this year, because the auditorium is taken up. So nobody thought of that when that happened, and Carol ended up sending an email this morning to Sonia Spalding and Chris Hennessy saying, you're going to have to warn a special meeting outside of the normal times. So it'll be interesting to see how that vote goes, because usually those votes are very difficult to get, right? Because you're not used to the time, and it lowers the amount of voters. And that means if budget failing can happen like legitimately, which would be really dangerous. And I think I made this comment
you talked about this before.
When you intentionally fail a budget, you have to run the risk of failing multiple budgets, and then next thing you know, you're in July and your budget's cut 87%.
So a couple questions.
You just voted again.
No. How many votes will happen before the state steps to stay and then says you take that 10% cut from what the budget was last year?
It's actually a
Is it a time deadline?
Yeah, July 1st is when then they say that, but I think you can still vote it. It's just you have to operate on that budget.
Okay.
And if it could get ugly. And that's the reason why I don't like playing these games with the budget.
Well, and I guess that's my follow-up question. Since there were so many people opposed to voting down the budget, what do you think with the current makeup of people who were elected, the chances are that it's going to get raised from that 1.5%, and then it's going to pass from that point moving forward? So
It'll
kind of
pass.
two questions there.
It'll definitely pass.
At what percentage rate, though?
4.7.
You think that's the benchmark?
9.7. Sorry,
that's as the sports would say. That's the Mendoza line for 4.7
for the board or for
for the general public.
I don't know. See, and this is the problem, right? You've dangled the 1.5, and now you're saying we're going to go higher. And you're going to pull out the people that do not want to get taxed more. That's going to happen.
And those were some of the comments that were written in the Times Argus article about the budget failing, where I need to know what that's going to, how, not the percentage rate increase, but what that means to my actual tax increase. How many cents on the dollar, and what does that come down to? Right. Kind of like how the city breaks it down per $100,000 of a household. What does that come out to?
Yep. Well, hopefully we get that, and if we do that, if we do get that, hopefully Chris Hennessy will come on and give a budget presentation like Nicholas did. There was no support on pushing the budget like there has been in the past, which is kind of inappropriate. I understand that you don't like the budget, but there's been times where Steve didn't like the budget and he pushed it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was different with the school budget because the administration side of it didn't approve of it versus the board did approve of it, and where that split occurred on the political side of it. So I think that's why there wasn't the unifying support behind the administration.
Yeah.
That's true.
Could definitely agree with that for sure.
Again, I get back to my original comment. You don't want to play games with a budget. It's very dangerous voting down budgets, intentionally voting them down.
Well, there's a lot more to lose than there is to gain. That's the thing. I mean, it's a loser's game.
Yeah, exactly. And you just don't want that. It's not good. But yeah, it will be interesting to see where it goes from this point. Certainly, I think that the votes are there for the 4.97. I don't know, unless there's votes to go to the 8.97, which was originally submitted.
I think that's what's scary. We need to look at it from the city side of things with all of the extra funding that passed and all of the appropriations for the organizations. What does that do to the bottom line? How much does that affect our bottom line tax dollar increase per $100,000 of assessed value? And then what the educational budget adds into that as well, because you're really talking about people that are coming out of COVID times, and the economy's on the verge of going into a recession. The feds are already saying they're going to raise interest rates at the end of this year to try to stave off that recession from happening. What does that mean to people, not only the retirees on fixed incomes, but kind of that middle class to the bottom middle class that are struggling right now to tread water and be able to pay their bills. Those that are maxed out on their income levels and the assistance either they receive or don't receive, where does that leave those folks that are unable to get assistance? And I think that's kind of the people that we leave out of this equation and how it affects them.
Yeah, that's true. Not to mention renters. The fact is that renters, when rent goes or when taxes go up, landlords are not subject to the home.
I'm going to make a comment you're not going to like here, Michael. It's the only time that trickle-down economics actually works is when taxes go up for renters.
I'm trying to think of the homeowners homestead
declaration.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That the renters will suffer the consequences of
Absolutely.
that because the landlords will put, which they should, right?
That's what a free market capitalistic society is based off from.
They have to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Plus, and as Heather brings up here, does there ever really have a bottom line answer for when we always seem to be waiting on AOE for answers, money answers. So
Absolutely.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because the yield rates, which could increase that 4.97 if it goes through, we could be talking even more, which, again, when you're warning a meeting on a meeting that nobody is familiar with, a day what nobody's familiar with, you could, a good get out the vote effort to vote no on the budget, because you're going to get those people anyway, because they're always wanting, there's always going to be that. But if you really have to, it's dangerous. Again, I will make the comment, you shouldn't play games with budgets. And
I would
really
agree with
me.
you. I would agree with you though that you do play a game on the voters that are going to turn out. But historically, the voters that turn out on a revote for something like this are the ones that are going to support it. So you may end up with, I don't know what the total number of voters or the percentage was for town meeting day, but when you go to a revote on an off day like that, you may end up with 800 people that go to vote, and the majority of those people are going to be people that are going to support the budget because they want to see it passed at the level they think that it needs to be at.
Right.
So I think that plays stronger to those that are in support of raising the budget and want that number to be different versus those that say, I'm going to vote no matter what.
I get that. I'm just, my comment is that for special elections, the people that were all up, voting no on a budget may not get what they want. And we could, it's,
like, be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to say that. It's in next when it comes up, we will have those yield rates, and they may not be very friendly to a higher budget, which could be a huge problem. And just folks, it's really frustrating, and it's really frustrating to play games with budgets. It's very frustrating.
Well, and I'm looking over here on the phone, and I see a comment from Rosemary, and I think she makes a good point. We have a lot of people, and this applies to both the city budget as well as the educational budget. A lot of people that support this budget that either A, don't have children, that are saying, hey, we need to support this budget for the children, and they're able to afford that higher rate and the higher taxes. And that's great. Like, hey, you don't want to have kids? Good for you. You have a higher level of disposable income than those that do have kids in most cases. But what you have to take into consideration, like I just said, is those that are struggling to stay afloat at the level that they're paying right now, and what that increase is going to do to those people. And in a lot of cases, that's going to cause those people to sink. And we need to be aware of those that are at the bottom level of the middle class. And I think we don't take that into consideration enough when we have people out there telling us to vote no and raise the taxes. And I support raising taxes and raising funds across the board. And you can, because you can afford that. But what about everybody else?
Yeah, that's true. Not everybody can afford those.
And it's not saying that it's not saying that they don't want to. I mean, I'm all for like
white privilege,
education, and we should pay our teachers more than we pay professional athletes, and we're in a backward society where we don't do that. But you've got to be aware of those that aren't able to afford those tax increases.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, that's for sure. I'm not looking forward to that revote. I'm not gonna lie. I am very concerned about it. That's all I have to say about that. Is I'm just very concerned about it, because I could see it going. I could see it going really bad.
Sure.
We could. It's just bloodbath after bloodbath.
Yeah.
And you know what would be absolutely not funny, but like karmic justice, would be if at the very end we had to go even lower. So which would be troublesome.
I think we should be very clear here. One thing that gets lost in all this is the most important thing is the education for our children.
Right.
And I think everybody would agree across the board that is the most important thing. We want our children to be well educated. We want our educators to be the highest level so that our kids come out being the best and brightest they can be. Right. I mean, I think everybody on both sides can agree to that, but we have to find that line where we have a budget that's affordable to the taxpayers and one that does our kids justice. And I think that's where we're missing the mark.
So let me ask you, Rich, your professional opinion about education. Professional opinion. Where's your professional opinion on having a position solely designed for getting communications positive towards the BUUSD? Like, that's their job, is promotion of the BUSD.
Well, isn't there a communications director for the BUUSD?
Well, they stepped down. They ended up going to another position. But tell me, a PR person. That's what it'd be, a communications director that promoted a positive message. That you think is a really useful position in a school district to have a PR?
I mean, in theory, the school district shouldn't need a PR person to push a budget through, because everyone should be in agreement. We want what's best for the kids. I mean, that the bottom line across the board is we want what's best for the kids. We want the best education possible, and we want to deliver the value on the dollar.
What's the value add for a PR person?
Well, I don't think in theory that's a position we should have.
There's no value add for a PR
I mean,
position.
but
I'm just going to
if
say
you compare that to this,
$100,000 off the budget.
If you compare that to the city, should the city manager really be outselling the budget to the public?
No,
public.
It's the difference of that's not a good accurate indicator. That's not accurate. We don't have a PR person in Barre City. The closest person we have to a PR person is the assistant manager who literally sends out notifications on Facebook, and that's it. The question for you is, should Barre City have a PR person? Although we kind of do with the BADC. I take back my comment.
I don't think you shouldn't need a PR person to sell.
And that's
budget.
not the BADC is not a PR person. It's they do development. Just for clarity.
I think, one of the comments that I can see from Josh here is about where the surplus is and collecting dust. And, I think it's been divided over what that surplus is available to use for and what it's not available to use for, and tying into open positions versus positions that are needed and where that funding comes from the government side of things. And I don't know enough about it to talk about that. I do know from being on the city level that if you get government funding and you don't use it, the next year it goes away. And I can see how that would translate into the municipal budget, where if you're not using that money, you don't get it again. I do think there are positions that we have at our local school here in the city that are needed that we haven't been able to fill. I don't know if that's because the pay's not enough, there's not enough candidates in the pool, what exactly the problem is. So I don't know that eliminating all of those positions is necessarily the solution. There are positions from what I've seen in the budget that we can eliminate to cut back on spending.
Well, in defense of those that put the budget together, they did not eliminate any spending or any positions. Right. All they did was take the budget that was approved last year, added 1.5%, and said, this is your budget. I mean, literally, that's all they said.
Well, and I trust that the finance committee took that into consideration when they did the budget. In the same way, I trust that our city goes through with their finance committee and presents a budget to city council that says this is sufficient for the needs that our district has. I expect the same from the school district. The finance committee sits down and says, this is a budget, whether it's everybody agrees on or the majority agrees on. But when they bring that budget forward, I respect the fact that the work has been done and the research has been put into it to say this is what we need. Because the time to ask those questions is when the budget is being formulated, not after it's been presented.
That was a good statement. That was a very good statement. So all that said, we'll see how that goes. I think it will be interesting to see how the results are. It will be interesting to see how the results are for when we vote it again. I will say that it's malfeasance for us not to put on that ballot a restructuring, removing of Article 3 and 4. I will not support any budget unless we put that on there.
I will be curious to see. I think history will tell us that when the budget goes for a revote, it will pass because, like I said, those that are going to turn out for a revote are going to be those that are in support of passing a higher budget. So I would suspect on the second time around, it will pass.
That's not true, though, because remember what happened 3 years ago. They revoted the budget and it failed. They failed it 3 times. No, I doubt that the next budget will be.
No, I think it'll be somewhere 9%. Around 5%.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine 9%. And if we did 9%,
why would they even? Yeah,
if they did,
That's
if we did 9%, I think the community would have a backlash.
So what's the process? Does it have to go back to the finance committee, the new reformulated finance committee, or is it done by the current board makeup?
I don't know. I would assume it would go back to, sorry, Connie. Articles 3 and 4 are the articles that prohibit commingling of children. Barre City children with Barre Town children. It's not allowed according to the Articles of Agreement without a vote. And my belief is that we need to make that vote. It's for the betterment of our children. It certainly fits within our strategic plan at the school level, and yeah, so it would be. I think it would be malfeasance. It's malfeasance that it hasn't been done yet. But go on. I don't remember what you were saying, so I was hoping you do.
I'm just curious what the process is for reformulating the budget. Does it go back to the finance committee to bring it forward to the board, or does the board at this point step in and say we're gonna? Do you start?
Nancy's watching. Maybe she knows.
Nancy would be able to tell us. Mm-hmm. I think it goes back to the finance committee. I would think it goes back to the finance committee. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion. And
do you start with the 1.5% increase and go from there, or where?
That's not a bad idea.
Start from scratch.
Take it from, that's actually a really good idea. Take the 1.5%, look at the cuts that were made, and have that conversation that should have happened where, we went together, and I say together, obviously I wasn't there, but that didn't happen. I don't think it will start at the 8.6. Maybe it will. Josh had posted that. But you take the budget where they want it, and then you start shaving it down. That's very possible.
But do you go in there again, I'm going to use this reference like council does, with some people come in and say, my cap is 3%. We can't go higher than 3%. So anything above 3%, I'm not going to, I'm
not even talking.
Right. And I can say that from experience with Teddy and Jake and others, that's what they've come in there and said. So do you say our cap is 5%? And do you think, what's your feeling on that? Let's say 5% is the cap. Do you think that that's a cap that everyone can agree on, or do you think that that's something that's going to be pushed?
Well, so the finance committee did the work on it, and they came up with a 1.5%. And again, let's just do the math, right? A 1.5 to 4.9%, 97% is roughly about $1.6 million. Numbers, they get really, really confusing, especially 1.5, 1.6 million. But the difference is 1.6 million. And then we take the surplus money that's already scheduled, right? And you put that in there. Then you bring it down to about $900,000. So the difference between the 1.5% and the 4.91 or 97% is actually around $900,000 in a $54 million budget. So those on the finance committee that came up with that 1.5%, they're going to look at that and say, the numbers are still accurate this way. And they're going to say, I'm sure they're going to say 1.5 is where we recommend. I don't know if they'll change their vote on that. That's a good question. But there's a current that somebody is posting about the surplus. There is a current surplus trending. That money has not been allocated, to my understanding. But that money would go into that. And if I'm wrong, Nancy, please put it out there and let me know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all sugars out. Do you want to talk about council races?
Sure. Let's talk about council. Let's talk about council races.
Oh goodness! And we're gonna have to, when we are probably gonna hear a ruckus anytime now. And let's say that it's because the girls' hockey team won the championship. And so with a police escort fire,
Awesome.
everything is going to be coming through shortly. Tracy Lewis has messaged to let us know that will be happening. So
Michael, where are you going?
We will be. He's going to give us a camera in the window.
Oh, cool.
So
street cam.
Yeah, definite street cam. So this will be. The girls won the game 4-1, and they are the champs.
That's pretty exciting.
It is pretty exciting. They talk about March Madness, and the boys are playing at the Gut next. I think. I don't remember if it's tomorrow or Friday.
4-1's a pretty dominating win in a championship game. There's not much left there to dispute.
Yeah, so
a nice
they will
send-off.
be coming through soon.
It's a nice send off for a lot of the seniors.
Keep talking, because that didn't work for me.
It didn't work for you?
No.
So, bottom line.
First time in school history that Spalding is D1 champs in girls hockey. Well, that's pretty exciting.
That is very exciting. That's awesome. And thank you so much, Tracy, for letting us know that this is going to be happening. Michael's trying to get a camera set in the window. And
IT's not your forte?
No, clearly not.
Because what did it do to you?
Well, the problem is that the window. Sorry, folks.
Look at that comment for everybody that didn't see it. 2 8th graders scored the first 2 goals. Well, that is pretty impressive. I'd say that speaks a lot to the future of the program.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Wow. That is awesome. And they will be rolling through soon. We can cheer them on. But you got it now?
Yes, there was a reflection on the window.
Oh, but you've got it now. You could have just shut the light off. I'm just telling you.
I can't get my drone out there because I'm not legally allowed to fly anymore.
You didn't renew your license?
I did not yet.
Shut the room light off.
Before we talk about the council races, I want to say my heartfelt condolences to you on the loss of your dog. I don't know if I missed that already.
Thank you.
I know how much you would look forward to getting a dog, how excited you were, and how much you love that dog. So I do want to tell you that my condolences go out to you for the loss of your dog.
Yeah. It's definitely been a rough few days.
Yeah, it's been quite a few sucky days.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. And, it's over with, though. It is what it is.
It's for the better for Vasco.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyways,
so
switching gears on you.
City council races.
Yes, let's discuss that.
All right.
And the budget and BADC.
Oh, I bet you got a lot to say about BADC.
What do you want to start with, Michael?
Let's go with Ward 1 council race. We got Tim Bolton was 232 to 291. So when he ran against Amel, it was about 100 points. He was able to lower that gap to whatever the difference is, about 50, 60, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Much closer race this time around.
Much closer. And then Rosemary Averill versus Teddy Wozniak, and that race was 162 to 208. And that was a first time. Rosemary's never run for anything. Nobody, she
did a kick-ass job.
She did. And they, everybody put their heart and soul into these elections. Mm-hmm. Then Tina Ruthier and Sam Stockwell in Ward 3, 127 to 169. So not too bad. They all tried their best. The incumbents had the incumbency as a benefit for them. It's really for me. I was very sad about that because I'm really concerned. There was a couple issues for me. I was concerned about the partnership, and the acquisition of the Wheelock building by the partnership. I feel like the 3 candidates that I was supporting were fully on board for that, and I'm fully on board for it. So that's the reason why I fully supported them. And then the BADC, the all three of the candidates that I was supporting, Tim Bolton, Rosemary, and Tina Ruthier, were fully supportive of BADC. And, that obviously didn't happen, right? But the BADC vote did go through. And that was pretty surprising, quite frankly. After all the misinformation that was put out there about BADC, and I know that Rich and I have had some conversations about BADC, and at the time though, that was before Cody, right? In defense,
True.
Our issues were before Cody. So, and Rich, you can certainly make your comments now.
Yeah, I'm anybody that knows me knows I was not the biggest supporter of that. Even that is an understatement. That is a gross understatement.
Yeah, I know.
That I was not the biggest supporter of BADC before Cody came on board. I was a very outspoken critic. I grilled BADC when their previous executive director to Cody was there. I had a meeting with the board myself, all by myself, in one of the board members' offices with 4 members of the board about why I didn't support them and why I should. I had a private luncheon with a former board member trying to sway my opinion of it, and I was not a supporter of theirs. I didn't support the Rock Solid initiative, and I was not their biggest fan. My opinion changed when Cody came on board, and the work that he did and the synergy and energy he brought to the position, both with the partnership and with the city staff. And it changed my opinion. I was surprised, as you said, to see that the BADC funding request went through after the mayor campaigned so hard against it.
Campaigned against our only development organization in Barre City.
Right, and it was especially surprising to me because the candidates that he campaigned for all got elected, but the one item that he campaigned against didn't get defeated. So I was very surprised to see that. I think it will be a boon to the city because of where our economy is as a whole, as a nation, and at the state level. Having an organization that's out there promoting the economic growth and development and the opportunity that's here within the city and the town limits is only going to benefit us. There's no downside to promoting the economic benefits of an area when you're having a recession.
For sure.
And there's a lot of growth opportunity that's available here that's not available in other areas of the state based on geography, land availability, and demographics.
It's interesting. I'm just looking at the numbers here. 232 to 291 for Tim and Amel. And the BADC was 289 to 244.
Yeah, I was actually impressed with the Ward 1 race this year.
I was not impressed at all.
No, right. The
I'll
turnout's,
just say that.
That's fair. The turnout's not what you had hoped it was going to be. But
no. Beyond that, I am not impressed at all. I actually lost Ward 1. It was significantly.
Okay, well, I'm talking about just the race between Amel and Tim, because the last time they ran against each other, Tim received a lot of personal attacks for his comments, beliefs, posts on social media. His business was personally attacked by phone calls, emails, and threats, publicly and privately. His wife's place of employment, the hospital, received calls and threats of boycotting them, which I don't know how you boycott the local hospital, but whatever. Places that Tim did business with, the co-op in Montpelier, received calls, people saying they would refuse to shop there if they sold his products. So this time around, to not see that level of personal attacks and to not hear about that, I was actually impressed by that. And I think that's good, because right or wrong, whether you agree with somebody, to attack them on a personal level and affect their business is not okay. If you choose to not align yourself with somebody's thoughts and beliefs and not to do business with them, you're more than welcome and free to do that. But you shouldn't torpedo their business as a whole just because you don't like them.
So you haven't been watching the Barre Beat or live or aired out, have you?
Not on a regular basis, no.
Yeah, okay. So Raylene right there is biting her lips so hard, I can see the blood coming out. So what you may not be aware of is that both aired out, and mainly because of Raylene, has aired out the Barre Values group.
Yeah, I'm aware of that from various social media posts.
Which is kind of funny because you and I had this conversation a long time ago.
Listen, I applied to be in the Barre Values group and they denied me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been painted as a hardcore Trump Republican.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Which I'm not. And on the other side, I've been painted as a, not progressive Democrat, but a middle of the road Democrat. So I've been painted in both corners, and I was denied access to the Barre Values group, and I've done nothing but be a positive advocate for the city and everything around it. Mm-hmm. If anyone is interested, I will give you a list of people I know that have been denied entry into the Barre Values group that have done nothing but positive things for the city, and that I know are left-leaning Democrats more so than a lot of people. So I don't have a personal opinion on the Barre Values group because I don't know what they are. It's a private group. I don't know what they post. I don't know what they're about. I know they don't want me to be a member of it. And I know that it's a secret. It seems to be a secret organization that, for whatever reason, has something to cover up.
With a great message that they don't want to share with the rest of us.
I will say that I find it interesting that the number of people I know that are members of it also seem to be members of the Greater Barre Democrats, who also are a number of elected officials on our council and mayor, and are also the same ones that post all over Front Page Forum supporting each other in what appears to be a copy and paste format every single day. Mm-hmm. It seems odd to me, and I don't need copy and paste messages telling me who to vote for, but it just seems odd to me that all of these things all line up together.
This is why I miss you on the Barre Beat, because you can like pull that all together in a succinct message and help me with my issues that I have.
It's no secret. I mean, you can go on the Greater Barre Democrats website and see a list of members, and then look at our committees, look at our elected officials, and match up who's on that list. And you can see, the moderators of Barre Values and who's in that. And you can see who's on Front Page Forum and all of the messages they post that all line up. And that's fine. Like, if you want to be in all these different groups and all have the same message, I'm not discounting you and I'm not discrediting you in any way. It just appears like there's a large group of people that all have the same message. And as I've said to you in the past, when you elect one group of people to run everything, it generally doesn't turn out well from a history standpoint.
Not at all.
And I don't...
I feel like that was very close to the comment that Tom said the other day.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know where we ever went wrong in Vermont. I remember growing up as a kid that we had a number of people that were independents, and they were proud to be independent. There's a famous elected official from Vermont who's an independent. And where did we suddenly change to you're either left or right? And if you're in the middle of the road, both sides want to push you into either category. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being an independent. Vermont had a very active streak throughout its history of electing people based on their personal beliefs and the best person for the job. And we seem to have lost our way in there. And we villainize those that don't align with our beliefs. Both sides do it. And it just appears now that one side has a louder voice and more control than the other side does.
It's true. This is the reason why we need you back in.
How many times have I said to you, Michael, you and I, on a lot of things, probably most of them, don't agree on anything. Mm-hmm. We don't agree. Mm-hmm. We can be social. We can be civil about that, and that's fine. But there's a large number of elected officials that if you don't agree with them, we'll put you in a box or paint you into a corner and tell you you're wrong because you don't agree with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've said to you a number of times, the best government is made up of a representation of all people. The only way you're going to get a true and accurate representation and a voice of all the people is to have a mix of elected officials. If you only have one side of a group or one group of people that are elected, that's the only opinion you're going to get. And it may be 51-49, it may be 60-40, but you're not going to get an accurate representation of everybody. You need to have a mix of people, and that's the only way the best governments ever run.
It's true. Very true. But so
not everybody feels that way, unfortunately.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, if you read the social media posts, whether it's Front Page Forum or Facebook, it's either you're with me or you're an against me mindset, and that's a problem.
It is a problem. I agree.
Civil discourse and an agreement to disagree seem to have gone out the window.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's very difficult.
And since when did council positions become party affiliated? When did that happen? Because last time I checked, I specifically remember Carol saying that council positions were not based on party affiliation.
That's what I always thought.
This is true. They're not. They don't declare, but I think we're pretty confident. We know where people side at this moment.
Well, you do because they have two groups that are backing them that are intertwined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you have the mayor and other council members that are all a member of those same two groups endorsing each other, as well as our state representation endorsing them as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. But that might be because, people got keys to the city.
Yeah, when did that start?
I don't know, but there's been a lot of freaking keys given out.
I remember. There's a lot of keys. Anyway, let's not talk about this. We should need to talk about the election results. So yes, the city budget passed.
Rightfully so.
It should have. Yeah. We had many presentations. Nicholas has done a fantastic job with that. It did get a little bit of a hit when you compare it to other ballot items, but I think that's because it was dragged down by the push to get rid of the school budget.
But I think I don't think you'd find anybody in the city that would disagree with our budget needing to be passed and the work that needs to be done. Everybody runs on infrastructure improvement, but first of all, we need to have those things done, and second of all, everyone's going to agree that it needs to be done. So, I think the budget's an easy one to pass because we look at the infrastructure and the problems we have and know that they need to be fixed and addressed.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Fix the potholes. Right.
Don't even get me started on potholes.
It happens every single year.
Are you missing a tire, Rich?
Every single year.
Man.
Where's the girls?
Actually, I did have to have my rear stressed.
Where's the hockey group?
I don't know. Tracy thought they'd be through in like a half hour.
I mean, I set up.
Should be any minute.
Look, I set up the window so that we could all watch it.
They'll be coming.
And yet, I don't see anybody. There's nobody there. This actually looks pretty cool. We should start doing this.
What, to just show the road?
Yeah, just show the road occasionally.
JD does it all the time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, what else about the budget or races or anything?
Let's see.
CVPSA.
You want to talk about Central for Public Safety Authority?
That's got to be kind of a zinger for you because you were a proud champion of the CVPSA when it first came around.
You've definitely been.
And it's really fizzled on its own and for lack of guidance and direction from the upper levels.
Yeah. I was very, 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 very disappointed by the death of Central Vermont Public Safety Authority. It was a really good goal to regionalize our public safety, and we couldn't pull it together. And partly because we really needed Berlin and Barrytown to join in with us. You can't just do it with Barry City and Montpelier. It just doesn't work. So it's unfortunate. It didn't work. It is what it is. maybe sometime in the future that could happen, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. It just makes expenses more expense.
I'll be curious to see what happens in some of the surrounding communities. There was an article in the paper about Randolph voting down to reactivate their police department. But with Orange County facing a shortage in officers and then pulling out of a number of communities, and the VSP having to extend their coverage with the number of shortages and troopers they have, I think it's somewhere in the 20 to 30 range. Something's going to happen there to regionalize that more rural coverage. So, if those communities are able to unify together and get something working, I'll be curious to see if that model will then translate down to our area, because that would be a real great test subject in those rural communities where there's a lack of police department and a lack of rescue personnel coverage, to try out that regionalization and then bring that model down to our area.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the votes. That I can think of that were really of interest. We do have some of the Barre Town votes. The school board, obviously, the budget failed in Barre Town, and Paul Malone got reelected, and sadly, Alice did not. I was really heartbroken over that. She has years of experience on education, and it just that the machine was there. And
so we're circling back around here to where we started with school board. What's your sense of what the makeup of the new school board is going to be?
It's going to be
more contentious, less contentious?
It depends really on who's the chair. I think that if Sonia's chair again, it'll probably be just as contentious as it's been for the last year. She certainly brings out a lot of raw emotions from people.
For sure.
Even myself, I went to the budget committee meeting and tried to say hello and kind of got a cold shoulder, and I was like, okay. Granted, haven't been nice to her in a couple emails that I've sent. Asking for information that I felt like I was getting stonewalled on. And it was a misunderstanding between the two of us, and we talked it out. And, but yeah, I think that.
But a lot of people feel that she's unapproachable.
Some people are just like that. They just have that unapproachable. Some people have that. I
think of here people I know right in downtown.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That is correct. So it'll be the next, just for folks to know, the next city election will be in March next year. But it'll be interesting to see how it all sugars out on school board.
It'll be interesting to see who's going to run for mayor.
This is true. Are you talking about maybe somebody that has experience doing it and has made significant strides to the future of Barre City? And we could certainly talk about wonderful things that he has done, like, City Place, Main Street reconstruction, all those wonderful things. I'm just saying, Tom would be amazing.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say that he has nothing to do with those things.
Oh, does he? He has nothing to do with those?
I seem to remember articles written in the paper that he couldn't claim credit for those things.
Well, he wouldn't claim credit for those things.
I think people were trying to discredit him. Oh,
I'm sure.
Just like how he almost single-handedly saved the Nichols building. Because he did. Him and a bunch of people got together and purchased the building that had caught on fire to save it because it was a historical building that he wanted to save, similar to the Wheelock building. Just saying. Not that would ever happen, which it did.
There's something to be said for somebody that wants to invest in the community that they grew up in. And, if I had the financial means about me to be able to do that, I would do the same thing. And the fact that certain people do have those financial means available to them and can choose to invest anywhere they want, but they choose to invest in the town they grew up in and or the city that they grew up in and live in currently, I think that speaks to them as a person more so than to them as a business sense, because there's not the money to be made here in the city investing in it like there is in other parts of the state or the country. And that person is taking a smaller return on their investment because they care about the beautification and the growth of their hometown. And I think that speaks to someone's character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you may not like the way they operate business, but I've got news for you. That's how every developer operates. And that's the way anybody that's got a good business sense that wants to continue to be in business operates.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty much done.
Are we going to start campaigning for him tomorrow?
I'd say
I'll call him up and tell him when we get home. When we leave, I'll call him and tell him that I ordered the signs.
Well, I mean, if it's like the presidential elections, right? We start a year and a half ahead of time.
That's true.
Get behind everybody, because I know everybody, after just getting through all the council elections and school board stuff, is ready for more posts on Front Page Forum, because I could tell you every night I enjoyed reading 10 posts of endorsements on Front Page Forum and why I should vote yes or vote no on the school boards or school budget. So I can't wait for more of that.
I know.
Yes.
I'm super stoked about the Front Porch Forum.
Well, just don't read it.
It's
hard not to.
I'm tempted to say, and I've been using this term quite a bit lately, but Front Porch Forum to me feels like the most Isley's spaceport of
what did I say to you this morning? I said I think Front Page Forum has become the new Craigslist. I think when I was a kid growing up, I delivered newspapers when I was 12 years old. My dad would drive me around on Saturdays and Sundays, and he was a WDEV fan listening to the Trading Post and music to go to the dump by. And I equate Front Page Forum to the Trading Post on WDEV, and Craigslist as kind of a synergistic beast of its own. And I think more people pay attention to it because it's a way to find out what your neighbors are getting rid of if you don't want to scroll through Facebook Marketplace every day. So I think there is a lot of value to it. Unfortunately, the political posts get to be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think it tones a lot of people out.
It really does. I think, for me, I'm one of those people that believe that let the candidates post once and let it ride. That's what I do every election. I post once, watch some of the nasty comments come out, and then just let it ride, because it's just not worth it to me for the fight back and forth.
And like I said to you, when you have the same 10 people that are posting almost copy and paste endorsements of certain candidates, and those same 10 people are all in the same groups outside of Front Page Forum on Facebook and politically, it gets to be overwhelming, and it becomes more of a campaign from the political party than a personal endorsement. I'm more interested in what my neighbors on either side of me have to say in conversational form than I am in a copy and paste post on social media.
True story. Where's this?
Apparently, I think they're coming.
They're coming?
I'm pretty sure, because we've just got phone calls.
Okay. Well, we got people.
We have people trying to call us.
People trying to call us.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got people crossing the street.
Yeah.
They're crossing the street, but they're illegally crossing. That's jaywalking.
It's all right.
I think that. So Raylene's now calling someone to find out where they are.
Calling them back to find them. Hi, were you calling to say they're on their way through? Hi. Are you calling?
Can you hear me now? That's an old campaign. Probably a lot of people don't know about.
They're on their way. So we will.
So they have quite a ways before they get here then.
Oh, no. That's really sad.
25 more minutes.
Oh, boy, that's a long time.
25 minutes isn't happening.
We're at the studio doing a show, but
we're not going to be able to do that.
Be here then.
No. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, I just saw somebody do a U-turn on Main Street.
I cannot
That's
drive,
funny.
Either, so
Well,
I am down here with.
Anyway, so we'll I think we'll pretty much wrap this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We tried.
Say congratulations to the candidates that did win.
Congratulations to everybody that won.
Yes.
I said, I think it was a cleaner campaign than what we had 2 years ago. And there may have been some things swept under the rug and at the fringes, but it seemed to be a much cleaner campaign. And contrary to a post I saw today on Front Page Forum, I would say that both sides ran clean campaigns and didn't attack their opponent on personal levels and business wise. So,
Who posted it?
I'm not going to comment on who it was. It's on Front Page Forum. You can
I'm
read
sure
it.
I know who it is, and I can already tell.
I don't think you do.
Oh, really?
It's not somebody that you would suspect, but
interesting.
Rather than point out the nastiness and dwell on the nastiness, I'd like to point out that the good side of things, and hopefully,
I'm the only one that was a bitch, not you. So
hopefully, we're gonna move in a positive way, and everyone's mindset is the betterment of Barre as a whole, and not not.
And that really is my mindset too. I just want people to stop threatening people and
it's not a
being
left
mean
versus
to people and
and
just be open. If you truly want to be diverse and equitable and you want to change things, then be open and be open to discussion with everybody, not just a few. That's all I want.
Absolutely. And we can't point fingers and we can't be left and we can't be right because what I think we all want is the betterment of Barre. And how do we do that? We work together. We include all voices, even those that we don't agree with. We listen to what they have to say, because I can tell you that from personal experience, oftentimes listening to people you don't agree with, you do get good ideas and you do get good feedback. So
I don't always agree with him either, and with Michael, and he doesn't always agree with me. I mean, we're totally on the opposite sides about some things. Especially different presidents and stuff, but we talk about it and we get along really well. And
so, and the best politicians are those that can reach across the aisle, shake hands, and come to an agreement on what's best for everybody. And if this new wave of council seats are going to be politically motivated, you need to be able to reach across the aisle and work with those on the other side that you don't agree with.
And the same at school board.
Absolutely. Ultimately, it's what's best for the city and it's what's best for the kids, and that's what we all need to be in agreement on and work from that point moving forward.
The only person I can't talk to is the mayor, so that's it. But that's slights going way back. And Rosemary, she hugged Teddy after the election.
She did. She gave him a big hug.
I hugged Amel. I hugged Sam Stockwell and Teddy. Congratulated them, and we obviously were on the opposite side. I mean, I held a Tina Ruthier sign all day at the polls.
Yeah.
Well, not all day. I mean, obviously I left a couple times, but I held that sign there, and for a while there I held Rosemary's sign.
It's a different world. Gone are the days when sitting councilors didn't endorse those that were running in opposition.
And a mayor, I've never seen a mayor endorse anybody. That yesterday was the first time I ever saw
that's
a
not
mayor
true. So
endorse.
I'll
That's the first time I ever witnessed such a thing.
I think if you looked at the Greater Barre Dems website, you would see people that are in positions of our elected officials in the Greater Barre Dems, whether it's the president, the secretary, the treasurer, and you will find that there's a striking contrast to those that are elected officials in our city.
Yeah.
Or on committees.
I'll say this, the whole endorsement on city council levels, that didn't happen until Brandon Batham came. It was Brandon Batham.
Well, that's
right, you did say that the other
pulling
day.
national politics.
It was pulling the national politics down, and then there was endorsements from city councilors, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And my rule has always been, I don't endorse until somebody else does the endorsements. Yeah. And I've been pretty consistent on that. And I've never, I remember not. Oh yeah, Paul Poyer. I forgot about him.
Yeah, I was just super surprised to see a mayor endorse a candidate. I didn't know that would happen.
Well, I will say,
previous mayor did not do that.
Well, actually,
I don't remember Lucas ever doing
he
that.
never. So Lucas, myself, and Jeffrey Tupper Giles were on a flyer that we mailed to everybody in Barre City, saying that you should vote for us, and we also. I remember one council meeting. It was before the election, so nobody had any. It was when somebody they had what's going on out there?
They're getting ready for the
I think we're gonna
girls.
get outside.
Oh,
They're
wow.
getting ready for the
We're getting
girls.
ready
We
for
have
the
to
girls.
sign it off. Sign it
If
off.
we're gonna, if we stay down here, I will go live on my phone. But we may be going home because we're all freaking tired.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
So
and I got a
with that,
shot in my eye today. I deserve to go home and close my eyes.
Sometime.
yes. So with that, I do want to say thank you, Rich and Raylene.
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming. It was good to see you,
It's nice
man.
to see you. And Rosemary stated that it's nice to see you in the limelight again. So
Yes, it's
hopefully maybe we can make this a more frequent
event.
Sure. I'll be a guest appearance again.
Ooh.
And again, and again, and
Yeah.
again,
Good,
and again.
good. Anyway, so thank you again, and want to say thank you to everybody for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barre, Vermont. Hope you have a lovely evening. We'll see you on Monday night for our regular show, and who knows, maybe we'll start having Wednesday night shows too.
You never know.
You never know.
Good night,
All right.
Barry.
Good night.
Good night.
Sorry about that, folks. If you stayed with us, we actually might be filming the kids coming through the town, or the city. So Raylene's getting the camera up and trying to get it going. Let's see. Looks pretty good. So we're just gonna put this on here. Congratulations to the hockey kids, and yeah. We'll see. Wow, there's some really loud music going through the city.
We got some thumping going
Thump, thump, thump. Oh, I see aired out as a reflection. Is that going to be a problem?
Where?
Is there really 19 people watching right now?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, there's Michael Deering. Michael Deering's coming in. Uh-oh.
Hi.
Michael, how you doing?
Great, I just filmed a game.
You just filmed the game?
Look at this thing, bro.
Come over here. You got to get over here and see the light.
BPA Media. Oh, what a game.
How you doing, Michael?
Great. Are you live right now?
I am live.
Oh, baby. Just wait for the bus to come by. What a game. If you miss this game, you better check it out because it's going to be on cvtv.org as well as public access. I filmed it. It was great. We had the bus is going to be coming through with a fire truck. Nicholas and I were talking about a parade.
Nice.
Tracy and the athletic director need to get together, but we're working on it. Go Barry. We needed something big like this for tonight.
Nice.
So I'm going back outside. Get your butt down to Main Street. Hang out with the girls.
Listen, I'll go. If you're staying live
All right.
I'll go live on Aired Out too.
Oh, do that.
I'm
So,
going live on my political on my.
boy, everybody's going live to watch
Yeah,
this.
man. This is the way to go.
So, folks, like I said, we're going to just leave it on and let it go. And you can watch.
You want me to put a sign up for you?
Yeah. We need it. I guess we need this high. I guess.
We do. We do. We're still live and still the mic is on. Can somebody drop me a comment? Because I feel like the numbers are inaccurate.
Well, I can tell you if you're live still.
Yeah, I'm still live. It says we got 16 people on the Barre Beat podcast.
You got people waving up the likes like crazy here.
All right. Oh, Heather.
We love Heather.
We do. We love all our viewers. That's true. Anybody? Hi, Kathy. Thank you for voting last night or yesterday. Oh, well, there's a lot of yelling out there. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's interesting. You go live on the... Oh, they're not here yet.
On Add Out.
Add Out. Somebody's holding a sign.
Yeah, there's quite a few people out
You
here.
know what? I wonder... Oh, I wonder if I can just raise that, push that over.
Well, we could.
Push
look,
that over.
this person's out hanging out the sunroof. I think it's a little nippy for that.
So the sunroof that she's referring to is this one right here. Oh, we're down to 5 people now.
Well, that's all right.
Those are nice chairs. I'll go back to the original video. Sorry about that.
There's quite the crowd down here.
There is.
Between the Corey and the flower shop, there's quite the crowd.
Should I go out there and stream on the Barre City Community fan page?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. So
You're gonna want your jacket.
We're gonna continue.
Than it was.
We're gonna continue.
Here.
Should we continue in here and
Yeah,
we'll go to the...
make sure that we're not standing in front of the camera when we're outside.
That's a good point.
Over in front of this window.
That's a good point. Hey, folks, actually, I'm just going to turn this one off. Go to the Barre City Community fan page, and we will stream live from there to get some better video than what we're going to get here. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you later.